So, what is going on, guys? Today, we're going to be taking a look at two SH Figuarts at the same time, that being Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 from Dragon Ball Super Superhero. And this is weird, they're Premium Bandai exclusives, which is... oh boy, I hate Premium Bandai. A new one just got announced today, which is like the monster form of Zarbon. Which, yes, this is, again, pre-recorded. I always have the pre-recorded videos. Come on now. Come on. But this here is the Gammas, and I'm reviewing them together because essentially they're the same figure. Practically. The main differences being figure DLC pieces and, of course, the heads. Everything else about them, though, is basically down to the 1s and 2 on the chest and the blue and the red. Basically, other than that, they're the exact same thing. Back of the boxes, there they are. They have their pictures. They also have the same picture and their pose. Down there, da-da-da-da. Then we have Gohan DLC parts, which he's here. He has to be here for this. And there they are on their box, which is pretty good. Now let's get them out of their boxes. And here we have Gamma 1 and 2 out of their boxes. And as far as it goes, as you can see, they do come with a fair bit of stuff. Both come with a fair bit of stuff. Gamma 1, 4 other head sculpts other than the one he has, plus the Gohan head in there, and 3 faceplates for it, which is a lot of head sculpts, if I'm being honest. He does only have 3 different hand variations, and he does have a crossed arm piece. Gamma 2, on the other hand, has 1 extra hand variation. And I do mean 1 extra, which is just the kind of rock-out hands, I guess. Then he has Gohan's head with glasses, 3 heads for himself, and the cape. That's a lot of stuff. This might be a long one, honestly. Just for the accessory section alone, it might not be for the hands, if I'm being honest, because they're not really unique. But there, that's them. And so getting the Gammas out of the box, they look pretty good. I mean, like I said, they're basically the same figure, but with different heads, and the paint is red and one is blue. That's it. That's not a joke. That is the difference between the molds, is literally the heads. Other than that, this is legitimately the same figure with no real issues. And if I'm being honest, this might be one of my favorite Figuarts molds, period. I love this thing. This mold, to me, is really good. And it's just, like, a really awesome one. And I don't mind owning it twice, because obviously it's 2 different characters. They're twin characters, so it obviously makes sense for them to be the same mold. That's just how it is. Their only difference in the Super Superhero movie is their heads and their personalities, of course. Where he's a bit more serious, he's a bit more goofy. He's Vegeta, he's Goku, pretty much. That's how that works. Because they are based off of them, and I forget who else, if I'm being honest. I actually still haven't watched the movie. I'm just going off of, like, stuff I heard in a YouTube video one time. I'm not the best for characters. All I know is that, spoiler alert, he dies sacrificing himself, which is pretty crazy. I also heard he's a really cool character. And he is alive and is one of the strongest characters in all of Dragon Ball at the moment, which is kind of baffling, honestly. You mean to tell me these two are 2 of the strongest Dragon Ball characters? Really? But anyway, I know they're a little funny way they're posed, and that's mostly down to the fact of the holster here with the gun in it. Both of them have it, and it kind of makes the right arm sit a little funny. The holster can be moved a bit. The belt's also loose, so it can be rotated around a little bit. Another issue with the figure is the capes, and this just runs for both of them. It loves to fall off. It's not like the other ones where it's pegged into the back that I have with capes, that being Zarbon and Piccolo. They have, like, the head joint kind of connected to them, so if, like, I move it here, you can kind of see that bit in there, and that it just comes off really easy. And the top part of it there that is connected to them is just rubber. It's just rubber. It stays on pretty weird. Also, sorry if my voice is messed up a little bit. Mostly just due to being still slightly sick. But, I mean, as far as it goes, detail-wise, I mean, the exact same thing. The buttons are nice. The paint's a little iffy, though. On the same button, weirdly enough, if I'm looking at it right. This button here, there's a little, like, dot in that one, and this one has, like, a little paint bubble. I don't know why it happened with both of the same button, which is really strange. But it did. Nice glossy paint on the boots. looking really good. I mean, they just look really good. I actually really do like these figures. And part of that is definitely the accessories, because they have a ton of accessories that we have to go through. And we're going to do the hands first, but the thing with the hands is we're only going to show Gamma 1s, and then we're going to show Gamma 2s, because they pretty much have the exact same hands. I say pretty much. That's basically the exact same hands for both. So let's just kind of get into this. So, like I said, we're going to use Gamma 1 for this, other than the one unique hand, because there is only one unique hand. And basically, fists, as always, they're always here. So, we do have two hands up first, one of which we'll get into a bit more detail later. We have the open grip hand, which looks really nice. I do like that. It looks really cool. I don't know why. It's better than most, in my opinion. And this one, which is clearly not the trigger finger hand for a certain accessory. That's actually not the real gun, by the way. Again, we'll cover it. And because I said I was just going to use Gamma 1, I was wrong. I was wrong. Don't worry. We have to use them. Come on, there's 4 sets. You got to do it. This one here comes with Gamma 1 and 2. It's like a karate chop, or just like a, you know, calm down hand. It's not really a calm hand. It looks like a karate chop type of hand. And the other one here is actually exclusive to Gamma 2, which is the rock-on hand. As you can just do his pose, which was on the box. That's actually how I have him pose. I have them in their poses from their box. They're weird stands, because I was cheap and was like, I don't want to buy stands. I wasn't cheap. These things were expensive. Very expensive. I had to pay. I actually got hit by the post office for these ones, which I didn't for the last couple things I got from France. But besides the point. That is the hands. Anyway, the next accessory to talk about is technically still involving hand parts, and there's still technically one arm part accessory left. And that is the guns, which they both have. As you can see, it is on their hip. There is a holster that if you do remove the gun piece, you can actually just get their hands around this if you'd like to have it like they're reaching for it. But this has a tab on it. This isn't the actual one, even though they did paint the little 1 and 2 on it. The actual ones are in the box severed, and I've actually never actually put a gun in a Figuarts hand before. I had Bulma before these guys, who comes with the gun, but I didn't do that. I basically posed her with my Goku, my Kid Goku, and left her. So yeah, there's that gun, which has the little shark face on it. I think they both do, if I'm not mistaken. They do. They're a little bit different. There's Gamma 2's blaster, which, again, same thing. Slots in the hand. The hand's very pliable, so it's not really an issue. And of course, for continuity's sake, there's that gun too. So you can have them with their guns, which are pretty cool. I mean, it's actually a very nice touch to just give them their guns. I do like that. It's very cool. I like the little ray gun aesthetic of it. I like the little shark heads. I think they look very cool, if I'm being honest. I really like these. And I do like that you do get the little dummy guns. I did see that coming because the Bulma had the dummy gun as well, but I do like that you get these. But we have one more arm part to talk about, which is for Gamma 1s specifically. I tried to put it on. I can't. I'm just too scared to do it. It's crossed arms. I mean, they look like this. Technically, they're usable on both, though, since it is the same mold. But they're meant for Gamma 1. They come with Gamma 1. So, yeah, it's just the crossed arms. I was just too scared to put them on. They just don't like... The arms come off really easy, but these just don't feel like they want to go on, and I don't want to force it, of course. Anyway, next up is head sculpts, which, again, look pretty good. These are their neutral faces. Of course, they're going to have the neutral faces on out of the box. And again, the big note of the head sculpt is they're pretty much the exact same, other than the whole fin, but the faces are a little bit different for the neutral faces. As you can see, he has this little, like, frown. He just has this, like, stern, straight-up look. I actually don't think I changed the Gamma 1's head. I changed Gamma 2's head, though. Which, now let's get into the next ones. We're going to try to pair them up, even though Gamma 2 has one less head than Gamma 1. But we're going to try. And here we have their teeth-gritting head. Kind of. I say kind of, because Gamma 2's is actually more of a smirk than a teeth grit, but that's the closest one he has to a teeth grit face, which is a little strange. And this one doesn't like to go on. Now, one thing to note, they have this type of head, which is my favorite type of interchangeable head sculpt. which is really good. I like that kind, but for some reason his, like, smirky teeth grit head doesn't want to go down. And there's his. Just get that in there, because it is a bit different, obviously. He's a bit more angry-looking, yelling faces, which actually aren't that different this time, and actually quite similar. They're pretty much the same thing, except for the fins. Kind of boring, if I'm being honest. Next up is these two, which are smirking faces in a way. He's a little more teed off, and he is, well, actually kind of has that smug grin. I like this one. This is probably my favorite Gamma 2 head, and it is his last head, comparatively to him, who has one extra. But I do like these head sculpts. They're pretty nice, if I'm being honest. Not really anything to them, really. They're just great heads, especially this one. I like this one. I don't know why I use Gamma 1 to point to that. Anyway, Gamma 1 has one more head. And for, like, the first time all video, Gamma 1 has his own screen time, because his hands, Gamma 2 is in the background. But he has this face, which I believe is him reacting to Gamma 2 sacrificing himself. It's a bit more of a, you know, like, saddened yell. You can kind of tell by the eye. A little bit. It's a bit more like a, no, type of yell. You know what I mean? It's one of those. But that's still not it for accessories. We're so far into this, and we're still going. They just have so many accessory parts. It's so unprecedented how many they have. But the next ones aren't even for the Gammas. They're for Gohan. We already reviewed Gohan, but as I mentioned in that review, he needs more accessories, but they didn't want to include them with Gohan. They instead opted to include them with every other figure that isn't named Piccolo, Vegeta, or Goku. Any figure that wasn't in the base price point, pretty much. And they come with parts too, and probably the most sought-after ones at that. Not just parts, but, like, the best ones, which is one of the reasons I wanted the Gammas. Like I said, I haven't watched Superhero and heard they're cool and all, but I mostly wanted the Gohan parts, which a lot of people tend to do is they tend to take the Gammas and sell them off and then keep the Gohan parts, which is kind of tragic, honestly, because like I said, I love the Gammas. They're really cool. Anyway, first thing up is Gohan's head here, which, again, just remove that. He actually has a really easy to remove head. And there is the Super Saiyan head sculpt, which looks really good. It's a lot more blonde than the other ones. It's actually closer to the Kid Gohan figure than any other Super Saiyan figure I own. Also, don't mind that. He's just out of his pose. That's why he has different hands. And he does have extra faces, which, similar to the other one, it is literally pretty much the exact same head. Removable. It's not really anything different. And I'm just going to hold them up to the camera instead of showing them on there. We have Yelling, because Yelling Super Saiyan. And of course, we have the almighty teeth grit face. And again, I like that Gohan's like a faceplate, but not really. He has the faceplate, but he has the hair. Like, it's just so weird how they did Gohan for the superhero line. Technically, these are, like, interchangeable. It's really weird, if I'm being honest. He's just an oddball of a figure. But yeah, that is that head. But we're not done, because he has another head sculpt and a cape. Which, again, remove the head, add this on, which is, of course, his Piccolo cape, and grab the other head sculpt, which is in a very odd spot, and peg that on, and that's this one, and this is the ones that come with Gamma 2. And yeah, I kind of like this. I love the Piccolo cape. I really did want that. I don't display him with it on, though, and unfortunately his cape does not like to stay up. Piccolo's at least has the ability to do that, especially if you put, like, the stand part in. Yeah, he doesn't have that option, so he just, floppy cape. This is very much rubbery, though. It's very much not shaded or anything like that. And the head sculpt itself is really nice. I like the messy hair Gohan has, and then he also has the glasses, which seem very fragile and very easy to remove, which makes me a little scared. But, I mean, overall, pretty good accessory parts. Like I said, probably the best ones to come with the figure DLC for Gohan. But essentially, that is it for the accessories. Most of this video is accessories. I'm well aware of it. I know I could show it at the beginning, but what's the point in that? Just showing them in the box and not showing them on the figures. Come on now. Most people don't even make it to the pictures. I know that. But we're actually going to use Gamma 2 as the dummy because guess what? You had more screen time by technicality. Gamma 2. For articulation, we have a ball joint in the neck, which is really good along with in the head. This is actually really easy to come off because when I was trying to take one of the Gamma 1 heads off, the neck came off instead of the head because it was tight. I don't know. Like I said, it's this type of thing, and it was just some of them don't like to go on or off. So it's a bit of a shame. But it is there. The shoulders, they do look a little wonky, I will say, with like that gap. This little part here doesn't do a great job. But it does allow for some great articulation. Look at that butterfly joint. Look at that. If you wanted, you could get the little double hand gun action thing going there. You know, like how people hold guns with two hands. There, you can get that going. Which is nice. The ball joint, very much visible. Very good, though. One thing that is a little annoying on these figures is these parts here, which a lot of the figures tend to have. But they do pop off easy and they go on pretty easy. Double jointed elbow. He does have my favorite wrist joint now ever. He has the dumbbell joint, but he also retains the little hinge. Meaning, yeah, he has all the articulation in the wrists. It's weird. I've only had the other end pop out once on Gamma 1. Gamma 1 has the issues, apparently. The cape goes out and can rotate side to side. Different ways. And actually looking at it, that's really stressed looking. Kind of see the little white marks there. Really strange. Just where the pin went in. He then does have waist articulation, which is per usual. This is a very pliable rubber, which is very nice. Which means, yes, his leg articulation is not impeded in the slightest. It goes anywhere you need it to. Knee joint, kick, legs have great articulation with the dumbbell joint. Again, great toe bend. I mean, the articulation on these guys kind of unmatched, if I'm being honest. Like, they're really strong in the articulation department. Like, really, really strong. And they have a lot of the markers to make one of my favorite figures, if I'm being honest, from the Figuarts line thus far. Which is really strange. Let's just get you in here, Gamma 1. Because let's just talk about them. They are honestly great figures. But again, premium Bandai. Quite expensive. Not cheap figures. I imported them from France. I tried to do the thing I did with the other ones, but they were so much they actually did hit me. Sometimes they don't hit you. It's just random. This was my 5th time, and they randomly hit me. This time, I had to pay an extra $44. Tragic. But, as far as it goes with them, this is now one of my favorite Figuarts. Easily one of my favorites. It is an amazing figure. But it's a shame that a lot of people tend to buy these and get rid of them just so they can have the Gohan parts. Because, again, that Gohan, also an amazing figure, doesn't have a lot of accessories. That's that thing's biggest thing. And this guy, these two kind of come with the big ones, in my opinion, with the head sculpts. Especially that Super Saiyan one and the cape. They are an amazing duo. I love this thing. It is literally the same mold twice, and I'm okay with it. It's just such a good mold. It is very articulate. It looks great. The only issues it has, in my opinion, because everything on it basically is flawless to me, which is it has the dumbbell wrists, which I love, and it has the type of head sculpt swap I love, which is like the little like circular thing in there. The only issue he has is that his cape likes to fall off occasionally. That's it. That is literally the only issue these two have, in my opinion, is that the cape likes to fall off a little bit too much. And as far as it goes between the two, who do I prefer? I prefer Gamma 2. I just like his design more, if I'm being completely honest with you. I don't know. I like the 2 fins opposed to the 1. He also has the better heads, even though he has more heads. He has the 2 generic heads, and he doesn't, actually. He has teeth grit, but it's not teeth grit. It's more of a smirking face. So it's kind of interesting. And I don't know. I think they're just really both good, and I'd wholly recommend these two. Genuinely 2 of the best figures I think I own from Figuarts. Like I said, they're up there. I don't know who is in my top 10 at the moment, and I might do one at the end of the year because I kind of feel obligated to. But, I mean, I'm being honest. These two, I mean, they share a spot. They're the same thing. But, yeah, these things are great. I'm giving them a 5 out of 5 because, like I said, they're not missing anything. Articulation is flawless. Everything about them is great. They don't lack accessories. I'll say that. I'm just looking at a pile of heads off to the side and go on. Yeah, don't forget about this guy. He's here too. Oh, there he goes. Yeah, anyway, that's them. And as far as it goes, recommend them if you can get them for a good price. They're expensive. I'm not going to say how much I paid for them. It wasn't a ton, but it was a ton. But it wasn't, like, astronomically bad. I've paid that price for individual figures before, and I did it again today. I did it again. We'll see them soon. But that is all for this review. This has been a review of the Gammas from Dragon Ball Super Hero. This has been IltOutDelete signing out.